whoever's watching this, you could probably quit your job now. You'd have enough skill set. I wouldn't recommend quitting your job right now, but you'd have a skill set that you would be able to sell.
Go and quit your job right now.
Just start a business.
Message your boss, whatever time it is now. Watching this at 2 a.m. Go quit your job.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast. So it's Chatzzz episode 11, I believe, and we've got a very, very special guest, Nick Bamford. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, thanks for having me.
So a new way I'm going to introduce guests, because I feel like I never introduce guests, and I was listening to a podcast on the way down, is how would you introduce yourself? Because personally, I'd introduce, well, from knowing you at uni, event promoter, but then marketer and now NFT enthusiast. But how would you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, well, I think you've kind of nailed it there. You've introduced me without introducing me. Yeah. So all of the above. Yeah. And then I don't know, really. Guy living in Birmingham. Yeah, you've screwed me with that intro. I've got to introduce yourself after. Yeah. But yeah, no, all the above. Yeah. Used to be a club promoter. Yeah. Digital marketer. Now, I am an NFT enthusiast, so you've absolutely nailed that one. So there you go.
All right. Well, I've got it bang onto a T, so that sound right. So the way we start every single podcast is, and you prepped for this, haven't you?
I have. I got back from the pub last night. I was like, oh, shit, I need 3 facts. I was like, right, okay, what can I think about myself? So I've got 3, I've noted them down, and they're quite good, actually. So, yeah. Do you want me to go through them?
Yeah, just you go for them. Okay,
cool. So the first one is I absolutely love space and everything sort of space and the universe and everything like that. So that's kind of my first one. Second fact is I'm a Aston Villa. So I know you said that on the way here you drove past Villa Park. So yeah, Aston Villa fan. And then the third one is when I was younger, I was a Xbox hacker.
Oh.
So yeah, so that's probably like my third one, which is a bit unusual. But we can go into a bit more detail on that later. But that's part of that is actually why I'm into all my NFTs and things like that. So sort of technical.
So we'll start off on the first one then. What got you into like astrology and space and that kind of thing? This is quite an interesting topic. I think like when I think about it, it's quite interesting, but I personally wouldn't say like into that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I was a kid, I went to all the, the space exhibits and things. I think there's one in Leicester that I was taken to. I was taken to it with school. I went to it with my parents. So I was always learning about space. And I think just the vastness of it and the sort of unknown kind of excites me because it's uncomprehendable that, we're so minuscule in comparison to space, and there's so many sort of, whether or not there's alien life, that excites me because there probably is, but are we ever going to meet it or see it? Got an alarm going off. Where was I?
Sorry, the unknown and
the unknown, the alien life and everything. I think just it's kind of like it's a lot of unanswered questions that sort of still really needs exploring. And that's why I'm actually quite excited as well. I don't know if you saw lately, the James Webb Space Telescope has been launched and all of it's sort of come together and its mirrors and everything. So many years ago, the Hubble was launched and that sort of gave us that deep field view of all the different galaxies. And James Webb has been worked on for years and years now. And it's going to be able to see further than the Hubble. So to see right back, sort of right up to the moment of the Big Bang. So to see really where we came from. So that's quite exciting. I'm quite looking forward to seeing what the images and stuff that come back off that. So that's my kind of space stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And then the second fact was
Villa fan.
Yeah, Aston Villa. So how did that come about?
Well, my dad's a Villa fan. So I've been a Villa fan sort of, since I was little. I was more of a fan when I was a kid. And then sort of throughout sort of probably, beginning of university and whatnot, around the time Villa got relegated, I certainly wasn't as into it there. But then over the past sort of few years, especially throughout like lockdown and everything, it sort of really sort of up the ante with supporting them. Like, I haven't missed a game since lockdown, so. Well, I don't go, but I mean, in terms of watching it on telly, yeah, because I'll be watching it. Yeah, right, no probs. Cool, cheers.
Well, that's perfect.
Cool, yeah.
Thank you. We'll just be like an hour. That's fine.
Nice
Cheers,
one.
mate.
Cheers, bro. So Villa fan.
Great start to the podcast.
You said something always goes wrong. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then, so now I sort of watch every game and everything. I sort of became a lot more into Villa. especially living in Birmingham, you bump into a lot more fans, before when I lived in Cardiff, whatnot. Not as many Villa fans around there, but there's a lot around here. So, yeah, so that's kind of, that's the Villa stuff.
What do you think of Lucas Dean? If you just took him off us.
Oh, okay. Good question. I haven't really seen much of him yet.
Yeah.
I don't. He's not been awful by any stretch, but he might have got like one assist, I think, maybe from the corner. But he
It
looks
was against us, that was. That's his first game.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah. Probably would have been. Yeah. So he's all right, I think, but he's obviously he got injured, so we haven't really seen the best of him yet. I feel like the season's a bit sort of, it's not done for Villa, but we're going to struggle to get any higher than we are, and we're going to we don't really want to go any lower because that would be kind of like sort of failure. So it's a bit of a sort of, it's not over, but it's
better than Everton.
Yeah, well, yeah. Frank Lampard, but I think we'll see the best of him next season. I think once he's had a time to gel and understands Gerrard's system and everything, then at that time I think we'll see the best of him. Yeah. But until then, I think it's just going to be trialing stuff, seeing if he plays like a winger, which I think he kind of wants to do for Gerrard, if he's going to or sit back a bit further. But we'll see. I don't think we've seen the best of him yet. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Gerrard then?
I like him. I was really upset when Dean Smith left because he's a Villa fan. He got promoted. He was a really good guy for the club, and he sort of set the tone after we had a takeover of kind of like what the club would be and how it is sort of family club, bring through young players and everything. He really set the tone with that. So, but he lost a few games in a row. So I can understand the decision. I think the club overall did him a favour by kind of, rather than letting it draw out for too long.
Yeah.
And then Gerrard, since he's come in, has been really good. It's not completely different, but it's very much a different style of play to what we had before. And it's decent football, but it's been inconsistent. It's been up and down. So, but again, I think he came in halfway through the season, so it'll be next season once he can properly implement his ideas and things like that we see what he's really got in the Prem. But I'm confident with him. I think he'll surprise a few people. Yeah. And he'll spend a bit of money as well, no doubt, yeah.
And then the third one is Xbox Hacker.
Xbox Hacker.
So let me guess, was it Modern Warfare 2?
No.
Oh, no way. My brother used to do that.
Halo 3.
I never really got into Halo personally. But...
Yeah, I was bloody good at the game as well. Like, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I used to. I was on Halo. That's how I met the sort of the people that I would cheat with, I suppose you could say. And then so basically there was a few different ways that we cheat. I'm going to get arrested after I say this. One of them was the DDoS, which is distributed denial of service. Yeah. So you had basically a botnet of people that you viruses on their computers or whatnot, and then by linking your Xbox through certain softwares or whatnot, you can find out people's IP address. So if you come up against them in game, you can basically hit them offline, so they just disappear out the game. You win. So that was one of the ways. There was another way which you used called standby, which is where you used, what was it? Was it Zone Alarm or something like that, where you get all people's IPs, but you put them in and then you bridge your host and then you allow it. This is so mad. I was 14, 15. But what you do is you put all their IPs in if you were a host, and then you would turn it off and on so they can only connect to you for a second. So they'd just be lagging in the game and you'd be there going, bang, bang, yeah, winning. So you win like 50 to like 0 sometimes. So that was like cheating. And then as well, I was hacking a lot of the gamer tags and everything like that. So I actually owned the original gamer tag, and this is the one that got banned till the year 9,999. Just the word content, CONTNT. That is my gamer tag, but it's banned forever.
No way.
So I'm gutted about that because I'd still like to use it now if I was playing, on Warzone or something. But yeah, I can't. It's banned for well, unless I live to the year 9,999, in which case,
never know.
Yeah. So, but that was sort of a bit of a weird spell in my life where I didn't feel like I had friends and everything, but I had more friends when I was sort of maturing teenage youth, whatnot, through my Xbox than I actually had sort of in real life. And sort of became pally with all these hacker guys and everything. Used to take all these different gamer tags. Like I had a few. I had personal. I had shake. Friends with guys that had like their own names. Like just one of them. Some guys just had virus. So it was like these really quite cool gamer tags. But I ended up modding my gamer picture, and that got me banned by Microsoft. So a bit gutting, but yeah.
So what were you like growing up then? Because obviously, you talked a bit about being the hacker and stuff. What were you like, say, before then? Like maybe like primary school or just going to secondary school? You said you were quite quiet, maybe?
In-betweener.
Which one?
We'll go with in between. A mixture of all four. I genuinely tell I was an in between. I was a mixture of all four. I'm trying to open my can here. Yeah, I was a bit of an in betweener, I'd say. But I was also very good at sports, which not anymore. I played football for the first time in about 5 years the other day. It nearly killed me. But yeah, I was good at sport. That's probably what sort of kept me kind of like socialising. So I played basketball, played football, taekwondo. I was on all the athletics teams. I was the first leg of our relay and used to do the long jump. I won the high jump, sixth form, jumping over my own head height. I was 177. I think I had to jump 178 to win. So that was from playing basketball that I was jumping. So yeah, a bit of an in-betweener, but a sporty in-betweener. I'd say that was to sum me up. I think.
Yeah, that's interesting. So would you say you excelled in one sport, or was it just like you were kind of good at everything?
Good, I'd say good at everything, but not the best at anything.
Yeah.
But it was like, in terms of like sprinting, I had a good mate of mine called Dom, who always used to beat me, and Nathan who used to beat me, but always kind of like, I was in the top three for sort of that. And then basketball I was always kind of in the team and whatnot. It's like, okay, Nick does the long jump and everything, Nick does the triple jump. So I was always sort of up there, but maybe not always winning. But I did win some things. Like I say, I won some high jumps and long jumps and stuff. But
what kind of like interested you in sports then?
Just I was good at it, I think.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, I sort of always encouraged by my parents and everything to sort of play sport, but nothing sort of, it wasn't sort of a thing that you sort of go, oh, choose to do sport. It's just kind of like, that's kind of like the life you live, when you're a kid. So yeah, nothing sort of in particular sort of went, oh, one day I'm going to do sport. It was just, that was how I was brought up. I was always sort of out and about, playing football in, the streets as well, playing Kirby, whatnot. I was always sort of active. So I was an active kid, but yeah.
Yeah. And what would you say you prefer then? Did you prefer the individual kind of sports and events, or do you prefer the team events?
Oh,
good question.
That's a good question. I don't know if I preferred one or the other.
Yeah.
I think there's a certain level of success that you feel that you get if you do something on your own, but as well you can enjoy winning more with a team, because at the end of like, if when you beat one of your mates at something, won and everything, it's like good for you, but it's like you feel shit for them.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's sort of a sports team thing and you go and win, that's obviously
you have the experience together, can't you? Really?
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's like it's just a different feeling, isn't it? And it's a different experience, really. If you do something together, or you can share it with someone. I always think like, if you go on holiday, even though you can go on your own, but if you do it with someone else, you can experience that with someone else. Can't you say, "Oh, remember this," rather than explaining something.
I've been told you're pretty good at football.
Oh, back in the day, yeah, back in the day, yeah. I used to play for. Probably nobody actually knows this, but yeah, back in the day, I used to play for Carlisle United. Yeah.
Oh, right.
So that was like 14, 15 maybe. I always liked the glory. So like, I was used to like scoring the goal or getting the assist, or like dribbling.
What position did you play?
So like either up front or like attacking midfield, that kind of thing.
Number 10.
Yeah, just exactly like that. But when I was at Carlisle, when I was younger, I was really, really good. Like when I was saying at 9 and 10, way better than when I was older.
Yeah.
I peaked too early, you see. And my dad will even say that. But I could play anywhere, you know what I mean? So we were like short on defenders one game. I think we played like Wigan or something. And then they were like, oh, Adam, you play in defence. And then obviously like I played really, really well in defence. And then I just got shoved in defence for like however many years. I just absolutely hated it. I fell out of love with football. So like that got released.
Centre back or
right back, yeah.
Right back.
So that was like maybe from 11, 12-ish, when just maybe end of primary school, start of secondary school. And yeah, I just didn't really enjoy it. Like, I was obviously going to training like twice a week and stuff, and then playing the matches, and I was just like, this isn't for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember the turning point was we had like pre-season training, and they made all the kids, so obviously these are like adults who were trained, and said, all right, you need to write down what position you think you are. And I'd obviously been playing in defence for like 3 years, and I put like striker or something. And then they obviously like pitied me because they were like, oh, he's going to get released anyway because I didn't enjoy it. They played me in like striker like a couple of games near the end, and then I got released, and I was absolutely devastated. Cried all the way home and stuff.
Got released.
Yeah.
So how's that like? What do they do? They just go, oh yeah, by the way, you're off the team.
Yeah. So imagine this, right? You're maybe 14. Everyone wants to be a footballer, don't they? Back in the day, anyway. I think that everyone. Yeah. And then after the game, you knew it was going to happen. You know what I mean? But then take you into the room with your dad and say, oh yeah, we're just not going to carry on with Adam anymore and stuff. Blah blah blah. And then yeah, just like drove home, was crying, it was like fuck. It's like imagine a
It's pretty
boy's
rough
dream.
at 14.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
dreams shattered. And then yeah, just ended up playing for my local team and stuff, which is all right. But I had my fun because we're talking about me too much here. But say my brother, he was probably better at me than football, but he was very unselfish. So
Yeah.
he'd be like passing to everyone and shit, whereas I'd prefer to score a goal. And then he went to Carlisle for 1 year and they put him in defence. And then he quit because he was like, I'm not going to do what Adams has done and be miserable in defence, whereas he's like central midfielder kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then he won like all the county cup and the league titles and stuff, and he won all them trophies, whereas I missed out on that. So like obviously childhood, because realistically only 2 people from my team made it professional.
Yeah.
One, Kyle Dempsey, he plays for, I think he just got transferred, but he was at like Huddersfield at one point in the championship and shit.
Yeah.
I think he was captain of Gillingham.
Yeah, 'cause I suppose now the age that you would have been is like now they're in their prime.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Kyle, he's doing quite well for himself, to be fair. I think he may be in League One now or something, but he was like captain of the team. And then Patrick Brough, he's in like League Two, but they were always better than everyone else. And obviously you have to have the team, don't you, to have the couple of players that are going to make it. But yeah, that's probably a regret that I had, is staying on for so long, whereas I should have just nipped it in the bud sooner.
Do you wish that you'd gone to like a different team, like just like maybe like a non-professional kind of like, just like your local kind of like, well,
I always
just smashed it from up front, just like 40 goals a season.
Well, I always say I went to an Everton training camp when I was younger, when I was like 9, when I was really, and they said, "Oh, who'd you play for?" Because obviously they were probably scouting it out. And I said Carlisle, and then I reckon if I hadn't been at Carlisle, then I would have got a trial for Everton. But I'm just putting it out. But yeah, I think
Probably getting the team now.
yeah, I probably could, you know. That's the thing. But I think yeah, like mindset now is like if something isn't working, you give it enough time, don't you? Then you kill it off, and then you move on to the next thing. Whereas I think when you're a kid, you kind of, it's your dream, isn't it, to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, we get the routine as well with your parents taking you and everything.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I haven't played football in fucking years. I don't want to play now. I don't want to get injured and shit. But yeah. So you said you were quite sporty when you were growing up, and then how did you get into like video games and that kind of stuff?
So a friend of mine came round once, and I think he bought his Xbox 360 at the time. And I was like, well, this is sick. So I got one for Christmas. And I just, so I think I've got like a bit of an addictive personality, but I know I've got, so I started playing. And then of course, I think that's part of the drive to win is even on a video game. Is that I want to win. I don't want to be second. I don't want to be third. I want to win on this game. And so it just became kind of like staying up all night playing on this game, you know, Halo 3 in particular. But I did play a bit of like Modern Warfare 2 and everything, but like staying up all night, chatting to people, because that was most socializing that I probably did. And yeah, just sort of constantly played. I'd, you know, annoy my parents, got to be 3 a.m. going, "Oh, he's killed me. Oh, he's killed. Oh, fuck off." Like legit, like that was actually happening. And they keep everything. I'd sit there, proper gamer, you know, I haven't changed now, look, kinds of Cokes, yeah, but you know, big thing of like Pepsi and Coke and sweets and whatnot. So proper nerdy gamer. Yeah, I can't remember what the question was now.
How did you get into gaming?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so then
a friend came over, brought his Xbox.
Yeah, and then I got one for Christmas. Yeah, so and then I sort of just kept playing, and then you meet people. You know how it is if you're online. I used to have a headset and everything, and then you meet people that are sort of doing the same as you. It's like they're staying up all night playing, you stay up all night playing, and then you all get quite good, and then you team up and everything. You go, and then before you know it, you're like playing against. You used to end up coming up against some like professional teams. And that's when I was like, "Well, fuck this! I'm just going to cheat." There's no way you could beat them. These are like proper like professionals that, you know, sponsored, playing in the US. It was like, so we did come up against like an actual professional team once and beat them by cheating. But anyway,
still beat them though.
Still beat them. Yeah.
So then, what was like the end of school for you? Because obviously you went to uni. What was like the thought process then? How come you wanted to go? Or
no, so here's a bit of a mad one. So I came to uni when I was 20. I had 2 years off.
Okay.
Yeah. So I finished sixth form and I didn't do awfully, but I didn't do anything.
Great, yeah.
No, yeah. So, and I was on holiday and I got accepted to go to University of Plymouth, I think, or something like that. And I just sort of ignored it because at the time I got a summer job knocking doors, door-to-door sales, selling insulation or scratch cards for scratch cards for the cerebral palsy football team. Yeah. So a bit of a mad one. Yeah. So how did that go? So yeah, so I came to the interview and it was 100% commission. So I remember on my first day, I did like a 0 or like 2, sold 2. But by the end of it, again, the drive and the want to win said, well, I'm going to sell as many. So that week, I remember, I can't remember how many I sold, but I've hit this certain bonus and everything. I was like, oh yeah, pay me like 280 quid. I know that's not a great deal of money, but when you're 18 and whatnot, and you sort of haven't had a job before, and suddenly sort of you're on this performance-based pay, you're like, well, actually, if I do a bit better, I get 300. Better, I get 400. So I never accepted the university application or whatever, and just sort of worked as a door-to-door salesman for the ages of 18 to 19.
How was that then?
That was one of the probably I think it toughens you up in some ways.
Oh yeah.
It was long hours, so it was like you start at like 9 a.m. and get back at like 9 p.m. because you want to be out all day knocking as many doors as you can. So you work what's called like the law of averages. You know, the more people you speak to, the higher chance you got of getting in one of these sales. So I sort of quickly, I did the scratch card thing sort of briefly, and then moved into this insulation that we were selling, and sort of built like a team of like people below me as well. So part of the job was like, you can teach and train people and everything, build this team, and one day that could be your company kind of thing. A little bit pyramid-y, but a little bit. But so did that, but was quite good at it. And it was hard, and it was like, I mean, imagine like during like winter months walking around in the rain, like your feet are just like blistered up and everything, but you're knocking on these doors trying to get people to buy these insulation things off your roof and loft. So you'd have to, but the sales skills that you learn about like closing people, how to get people to do things for you. So it's kind of like, hi mate, yeah, notice you haven't had your cavity wall insulation done. They'd be like, what? Why is he speaking to me about insulation? But yeah, your cavity walls insulation's done. Yeah, I'll just go do a quick test and everything. Is that all right? Or so like you've learned to close them. It's like, oh, I've just got my drill there. Should I drill around there or over there? And they're going, drill there. Why am I telling him to drill in my house when they used to drill it? Drill their house, sit, go, look, oh mate, empty, no insulation. You need insulation. It's costing you loads of money. And then you sell them like that. So
I think something like that though is a great life skill, isn't it? Because obviously you wouldn't want to do that for the rest of your life, but if you've if you've done that for a year, that's set you up for. It's a life skill, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It's the sales skills, it's the hard work and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, I was 18, so I wasn't particularly
getting young though, isn't it?
Yeah,
fresh. You know.
Yeah, I mean the only thing is, of course, you're still a bit immature. I mean, I was definitely immature when I was 18. Kind of like you're just doing stupid stuff. You know, going out the night before and everything, and just like after work beers. Still do that now. A bit more sensible, but yeah, but it is a really good skill. I mean,
sales is the most important skill, I think.
Yeah. I mean, there was some weeks I remember I had £1,000 in a week when I was 18.
That's crazy.
Like, whoa! It's because I did 21 insulation sales. Some of them were like jewels, so you did the thing on their loft, and then because that hit a certain bonus thing, it 70 quid a sale or whatnot. 21 sales. I was like, this is like £1,000 coming in for a week's work. I was like, this is incredible. Yeah, and then I had, like I say, I had the team underneath me as well, and they did all right. And then it sort of eventually, I think I just burnt out from doing that.
Yeah.
So I was actually living in Birmingham at the time. I quit, left the flat, went back home. Was like, oh right, what shall I do with my life again? Like, well, shall I go? And then I thought, well, I'm just going to start going to the gym. So for the second year, sort of like gap years or whatnot, I spent most of the time in the gym trying to become a bodybuilder.
I think every boy's had that phase.
Yeah. And it's actually horrible now to look at the pictures and how good I looked back then compared to what I look like now. It's like, oh, I've really lost it. So that was kind of like the second gap year. And during that time, that's how I ended up in Cardiff. I was like, actually quite enjoy the gym. I was like, well, I can do I had relevant A levels enough to get into somewhere. So I was like, oh, well, I guess Cardiff Met. And
easy enough to get into.
Yeah. So, well, I still had to do foundations.
Yeah.
And then, I did sports biomedicine and nutrition because I was into sort of like, well, big thing, again, what I eat was like relevant to how big I got or how strong I was. And so I wanted to learn that. And that's how I ended up in Cardiff.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Because everyone's got their own little paths and their own little journeys, haven't they? Like, it's so random how you went from sales, door to door, then the gym, and then going back to uni and stuff. And then that's obviously how you got into events and that. So what intrigued you about events?
Well, nothing initially actually really intrigued me, but I obviously had all this door-to-door sales knowledge. And when I got to uni, I was like, you get these, what is it, loans and grants and stuff.
Yeah.
And I got it, and then I paid off like my rent and everything. I was like, how the hell can I live? I've got no money. Like, so I got a job. Funnily enough, it was actually at Prism in Cardiff.
Yeah.
And I'd been out on a night out during freshers, and I'd met kind of the assistant manager or someone. And I said, oh, you got any jobs? And he was like, oh yeah, come in for an interview. So just the way I am, I rocked up in a full suit for this interview.
Full kit wanker.
Yeah, full suit wanker. Yeah. He's like, why have you come in a suit? He's like, no one's ever turned up in a suit before. I'm like, this is just from my door-to-door sales and stuff. I'd always not in a suit. I was like, oh yeah, put me on the street team. Yeah. I think I've got some good skills that will kind of be able to get some people in. And then got that job, obviously. I think just rocking up in a suit, they're going to give me a job. And I was like, yeah. So I went on the street and did the promotion, and sort of that's how all the event stuff started. Is because I mean, I don't know if you remember, but I was pretty good on the street. That was kind of like I remember that was like one thing I was really good at, is getting people in, learn how to turn your shoulder, all stuff like that. The yes questioning, smile, eye contact, enthusiasm, all of that stuff I'd learned from sales translated into getting people into a nightclub. And then so I was working for Prism for like a few weeks, and then next door Glam snapped me up. And then sort of all just materialized from there, really.
Yeah, because I think before I went to uni, I always thought like festivals are really, really cool, and like events. So I was like messaging all the events companies saying, oh, send me tickets, I'll sell tickets and freshers and stuff in my dorms and all that kind of shit. So I got sent like all the tickets, and then when I was in freshers in my halls, I was in Plasquin selling to everyone in there and just making loads of money and loads of commission and shit. And then I was just like, yeah, this is so cool. This is so cool. But first year I was just ticket selling because I was like, oh, this is sound. But then near the end, that's when I was like, get me on street team. Street team seems so cool. I just want to be street team and that kind of thing. Because I don't know, I just thought the whole nightlife was just so, I don't know, compared to Carlisle, it's just so much bigger and better and just so intriguing, isn't it?
Yeah. It's an exciting place to be on the street because everyone's out having a nice time. I've had a few drinks and everything. Yeah. So it's like a nice atmosphere to be in for enough period of time. You get, like anything, you get tired of it at the end. Oh my God, what is this drunk person doing tonight? Like, you just wear on you after a bit of time. But it's exciting, like doing the event stuff. And again, it's something I'd recommend because it's
100%. Yeah.
It's very competitive. I think it's what, we were competition. It's one of the most competitive sort of industries out there,
especially in Cardiff.
But it's like, I want to win, you want to get all the people in, you want to get best looking girls in, the coolest guys in, you want to get everyone in your club, and you want to win. So, and I think that is something that again is like from a business aspect. I think you said you want business, but from a business aspect, that sort of level of competition of wanting to win, beat whoever your competitor is another skill that sort of you accidentally pick up from being involved in events.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. But yeah, I'd probably say I'd recommend working in events, nightlife, anything at uni, because you basically do, people say you get paid to party, you basically do, don't you? You kind of think you get in free places, you get free drinks, you get to know the crack, you make so many friends.
I think the socializing part is absolutely massive. I think it really is. The sort of it almost becomes like your promotional teammates and whatnot, like because they become your family.
Yeah, that's the best. I was literally going to say that. Yeah, it's the best way to describe it.
You've got a WhatsApp chat. You're all out for the same goals, which is most of the time have a nice time, have fun. Sort of. So they become your family, and people end up getting in relationships with each other, that breaking up with so and so, and then. And it is, but everyone's kind of there together as like this dysfunctional family. And I felt like that's kind of like what the sort of the promotional teams end up being, is a big dysfunctional family that are all there for each other. And that's something that I miss, because I don't have a sort of promotional team. I do actually a little bit more now, but not quite to the same extent. But sort of that promotional family is just I suppose they come and go though. Like the team that you were a part of, the team that I was a part of, probably aren't really kind of like a team anymore, but there is probably a new team that do certain nights and things like that. But yeah, the socializing part is probably the best part, the part, and why you should get involved in events in uni.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And then what happened next then, after uni and events and stuff? Did you drop out
of uni?
Yeah. How many years did you drop out after?
One. After the foundation year, so I've got a foundation degree.
And then you went full-time in events, yeah?
Well, Was it 1 year? No, so it was 1 year, and then I just didn't turn up for anything in the second year.
So you technically sus.
Yeah, I was going out with a girl, and that kind of messed my head up a bit.
Yeah.
And
So what was like after events? I know you obviously stopped events. And
yeah, I mean, I'm still actually involved in quite a lot of events now, but from behind a laptop rather than
from face
to face stuff. Yeah, but after, yeah, so I worked in a startup, the local startup run by the events guys, and then told that I didn't fit the company, but whatever. But yeah, so left that, and then went back into a little bit of events, and then sort of left that. And then I got this job working as a mortgage broker in Cardiff for some company, and it wasn't me. But funnily enough, just before I'd started this job, I'd been at home and then sort of gone to Thailand with the fam. And while I was at home, I went down to see the local butcher called Rob. Shout out to Rob. Rob from Mills Butchers. And I'd worked for him when I was like 16, 17 or something, just like cleaning his fridge. I'll tell you something. It's a rough job cleaning a butcher's fridge. I'm telling you, that wiping all the blood off
5-minute
wall. Like, oh mate, you're having to like slide pigs over to get behind them and everything. Yeah. So that. But anyway, I've been down to see him, and he was like, "Would you be able to help me with my Facebook page?" And he had like 300 likes on it or something. I was like, "Well, yeah." And this is a skill that I didn't realize I picked up from the events, was all the social media side of things. So that's when I was like, "Oh, okay. I think I can help. I'll give it a go." So ran some competitions to win some like T-bone steaks or whatnot. And suddenly, his page started growing and everything. And then that's when I was back in Cardiff. I was sort of helping him sort of message him remote. And one day for this job that I was doing, this mortgage broker thing, I was there for like 2.5 weeks. I was just going, fuck this, I don't want to do this anymore. This shit. Trying to sell people these second charge loans. I was like, wait a minute, I'm having a fair bit of success with Rob and Butchers. Why not I just do this as a job and just charge people? So I thought, well, yeah. So I just quit my job. I had no money to do it. Bought an £89 Chromebook refurbished from the internet. And then started to just work for myself, just doing sort of people's social media. And that was, like I say, that's a skill that I didn't realise I had that I picked up. Yeah, so Mills Butchers now, Rob, he's got, Facebook page is popping, got 2,500 likes on it. Gets loads of orders. We'd set him up with a website, takes orders from the website. Yeah, and that sort of was my next chapter of working for myself, which I've basically done since, sort of leaving the event sort of stuff.
That's so cool, isn't it? Because I think, like you say, when you're at uni or working in events, you don't think you just think it's normal, don't you? Like promoting events on a weekly basis as well, which is fucking hard work.
It's almost nightly. It's like, right, the Tuesday, right, the Wednesday, the Thursday, the Friday, the Saturday. It's like, I got this special guest. It's non-stop.
No, and that's what I mean. And then when you kind of take yourself out of the situation, you think, I've learned all these skills here that you can apply to that. And you think, oh, to be fair, someone actually values this. And then obviously you can go and work for yourself. Have you always wanted to work for yourself then?
Yeah. Yeah. But I think deep down, I knew that all these things that I was doing, all right, they weren't the most profitable things to do. And they perhaps like door-to-door sales and events aren't perhaps the most respected industries when people look at them. But the skills in which you learn, I've always been picking up bits and learning and asking questions and gradually, picking up all these little bits and bobs of things that when you leave and go and do something else and you want to do it for yourself, you can put all of these together and it makes other things happen. Yeah. So I can't remember where I was with that there, but
yeah, I was going to say, for me, I look back and I think all the little things that I've done growing up, it adds up to, I've always been don't sound cringy, but destined to work for myself. Because say when I was tiny,
I don't think that sounds cringy at all.
Yeah. When I was at primary school, when I was maybe 4 or 5, I'd make little paper phones and sell them for 2p at school, or then Live Strong or beat bullion bands. I'd get my dad to buy them in bulk and sell them at school and stuff. I'd always sell sweets.
It was the rubber ones.
Yeah.
Colours. Yeah. I'd just go. Eventually, I have about 500.
I'd be selling any of them, and obviously selling sweets at school and stuff. But then I'd think I don't want to sell the sweets because they're lower margin. I want to sell the Lucasades, buy them for 39p, sell them for £1 and stuff. Yeah. So I'd always think like that. And then the events, I'd make commission here, tickets there, and all that kind of stuff. So I think it all makes sense when you grow up, doesn't it? All the little things add up, and you've got your skill set that you've developed over time.
Well, like you say there with the margin stuff. Because you learned that through experience, but you kind of done that.
By the time you just think,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I want to make more money. But then when you look back, you think, oh, you were thinking like that. That's mad. But so yeah, so what was it like going self-employed then for you?
I mean, good fun, I think.
Yeah.
I think automatically the being your own boss is already, it puts a certain, I don't know what it is. It's almost like there's a weight lifted of the no expectations from have to do this or have to do that for. It's the weight of expectation is kind of lifted. It's kind of like, right, you've got your own back now. Because funnily enough, like working for a company, and just because you've got a solid job that pays you monthly and everything, that company could go under at any minute and you would have no control over that. Whereas if I'm working for myself and I fully control if the company goes under or whatnot, which is me. So I feel, it just felt like almost like got back control of your own life. I feel like that's what's the most interesting thing is just the control of your own life. That's sort of how it felt. It's like, right, okay, I am me now. I'm not sort of this person that's associated. And I think that actually comes from as well with the events. It's almost like you almost have to, when you do events and things, is you end up putting them first. It's like, first and everything. Whereas when it's like, okay, work for myself. Now everything I want is first, you know? So I'd say
I think, because for me, when I finished uni, I worked for the events company for like 3 months and then left. But I remember the first day I woke up in Cardiff in my flat when I was self-employed working for myself. And I was just like, what do I do now? How do I make money? But then I thought, I just do exactly what I've been doing for the last however many years. But like you say, it's just on you now, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's nobody else pushing you and driving you. And you realize that you actually want to do it more for yourself than for someone else. Like you say, you have to do the event, or you have to do this, you have to do that, because otherwise someone's telling you to do it or they'll tell you off, whatever. But you want to get up early, you want to do the work, you want to push yourself and that kind of thing. It's a weird like feeling to describe, I think. It's like I love getting up early in the morning. Like during the week, I'll get up at like 5:30.
Would you change it now? Could you go back to?
Nah, never. I don't think, like I say to people that there's so many ways to make money in the world, isn't there? Like, it's so easy to make a decent enough wage if you wanted to. Like, you could probably, whoever's watching this, you could probably quit your job now. You'd have enough skill set. I wouldn't recommend quitting your job right now, but you'd have a skill set that you would be able to sell.
Go and quit your job right now.
Just start your business.
Message your boss, whatever time it is now, watching this at 2 a.m, go quit your job.
But you will have a skill set that you'll be able to sell to people, won't you? For probably the same amount that you could anyway, do less work and that kind of stuff. But it's a funny one, isn't it? Especially because you work on your laptop now. It's so much easier, isn't it? You don't actually have to go to work. You can work on your laptop. COVID sped everything up, I think. But
that would be my advice to anyone. His first thing is get yourself a really nice, good laptop. I mean, I had to start with a crap one, money, but once you can afford a good one after starting from yourself, like you can do so much on that nowadays. Like so much, it's ridiculous. You need to be really sort of digitally enabled.
Yeah, you need to be savvy, don't you? Because I mean, one of my mates, I'm getting him to help me out with a few little things. Like I'm just like training him up, should I say? And he doesn't have a laptop at the moment. He can just do it all from his phone, which is like sound for what I need him for and require. It's easy enough for him to do. But like you say, if you can spend a little bit of money, get a laptop, you can learn like Canva and design, can't you?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like literally the easiest thing to do, designs and that. It's crazy these days.
But like a lot of what I do, with Facebook ads, you can do Facebook ads, you can do TikTok ads, you can do Snapchat ads, you can do Google ads. Like these are all services you can provide just by owning a laptop.
And you can just YouTube how to do them as well, can't you?
Yeah,
to learn the basics.
Exactly.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So carry on. So obviously you went self, and then what was kind of like the journey from that starting with like the marketing side of things?
Yeah, well, obviously I had to teach myself some of the ad stuff. Yeah. So I taught myself that and became, good at that. Actually, I feel like that's one of my sort of real sort of assets that I have in my locker. I know that you do ads as well. Is
probably not as good as you.
Well, I don't know. I have to say, I get some good results, but I mean, it's hard. I think different people will approach them in different ways. Some of it might be more creative led, some of it might be more targeting led. Sometimes it might be different for like e-commerce businesses or lead gen and things like that. So everyone's going to go about it differently. So I don't think there's necessarily a better or worse way. Ultimately, if they work, And if they don't work, they're not good. And that's good. That's good enough kind of thing. So yeah, but what were you saying?
So what's been the journey then from the marketing? So obviously you went self-employed, you started doing it for the butchers.
Yeah.
And how did it kind of progress from there?
So it's just, I suppose, just sort of gradually sort of signing up a couple of clients. I don't work with loads of clients now. I sort of have sort of like 4 or 5 sort of like big ones that I can sort of deal with, and then that's kind of it. But initially, of course, you start off and you think, when I was doing all this social media stuff, is loads of clients all paying me this much a month, and that's just not how it works. Is you need clients that are going to be really good, up for things, and work with sort of people, for me at least, that are kind of up for trying new things, testing things out, and are willing to really go at it, rather than lots of people that you can do lots of little bits for, because that just becomes, for me, a bit of a nightmare, especially if they sort of social media management and just posting stuff for them. It's like, bits of content you need. If you signed up 30 people and you post out a bit of content for them every day, that's 210 bits of content a week just for one platform. So then let's not add, if that's just, let's say it was Facebook, let's say you got Instagram, then let's say you got Snapchat, let's say you got TikTok and everything. Like, that'd be like 840 bits of content, and it's just like, that's not manageable. So find the things that you really can nail down and really
Specialise in.
But the kind of the 20% of work that provides 80% of the results is the sort of the most important bit, really, I think.
Yeah, because always you'll think that signing up like cheap clients is easier.
Yeah.
Because you think, oh, if you get them to give you like 500 quid or something, it's sound, whatever. But you realise they're the ones that require the most work. That's the biggest investment for them. They're the most demanding. But the ones that pay you more money, it's like an investment for them, isn't it? It's like they'll have to pay that in tax if they make a profit and stuff. So they want to really take that to the next level. So I think for me, it's transitioning to more of the bigger ones, which I've got a couple in London now, which are really good, and hopefully another one soon that pay like good money, which is an investment. And like you say, they're really wanting to try new things and try new ideas. Our big thing at the moment is videos. So we do a lot of videos, like YouTube videos, promotional videos, like reels, all that kind of shit, which is really, really cool. But yeah, so you say, how did you kind of go about signing the clients then, would you say? I think that's the one thing that nobody ever really teaches you, is how to like say sign a client. Well, for me anyway, nobody ever taught me.
So I mean, I'm quite lucky. It sounds mad, but I've never really promoted myself that much, and that's something that I'm looking to do more now at the moment. But it all just came through sort of contacts and people I know, and said, well, so-and-so can do that, so-and-so. And before you know it, it's like I had sort of, portfolio of 5 or 6 people that, had recommended me to these companies, and then you kind of work.
Word of mouth's powerful, yeah.
Well, I like I say, I've never, it's absolutely mental. I've never run a Facebook ad for my own business. Yeah. It's just sort of people just sort of get introduced and whatnot. And that's basically how I work with everyone that I work with. So I'm looking now to do a little bit more sort of like self-promotion and stuff and whatnot. But yeah, it all just came through speaking to people that I knew, and then them sort of recommending. But I think that's part of the having the network of it. Doesn't have to be like, you don't have to be like business people. It's just like to be like, my dad's friends down the pub, oh yeah, well this company, yeah, I can introduce you to these. So I think just talking to the people that you know about what you do, that's kind of how I sort of end, sort of getting clients, really.
Yeah, and I think as well, if you've got good results as well, then people will recommend you as well, won't they? They'll be like, oh, Nick's done this, or Adam's done that, and then they'll talk to someone. Because that's the most powerful thing, I think, referrals, word of mouth.
Yeah.
Because it's already a warm or a hot lead, isn't it, pretty much? Like, for me, I do a lot of calls, like messaging. Well, I've got a virtual assistant who does it for me. But
VA.
Yeah. So I do a lot of that. And for me, it's like obviously learning how to approach people and what kind of way. You don't want to just go straight in for the kill, do you? You want to warm them up, give some value, booking calls and all that kind of shit. But you're really lucky that you've had referrals and stuff. I wish I could say that. So yeah, so what would you say the biggest lesson you've learned then is through the marketing so far?
Biggest lesson?
Yeah, having your own marketing business / agency / self-employed life.
What is my hold on, I'm thinking.
Put you on the spot.
What is my biggest lesson?
Or it doesn't have to be the biggest one. I would just say like a key thing that you've learned along the way that you wish you knew sooner, maybe.
You've got to be out for yourself, because sometimes, and I think I've been guilty of you kind of give, when you put not maximum effort, but when you you think, oh, I really want to help them out. God, do a bit, and won't sort of say, oh, maybe I'm phrasing that wrong. You do a bit extra, or you do something more, or you maybe they've paid you, but you might go, oh, need to put a bit more money into them and make sure they work and everything. But no, look out for yourself, and if I find this really hard to describe, but you've got to.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, because if you go and do like all this extra stuff for someone, and then
they'll expect it, won't they?
They expect it, but then also if they go, oh well, actually I don't like it, sod off. You go, oh, hold on, I've just put so much extra on top of what I was meant to be doing, and I've got sort of nothing out of it. So you've got to look out for yourself and be very realistic with with everything, and to make sure that you are looking after yourself and your own interests. And if they need something extra, or if the client needs extra or whatnot, and you just need to tell them that, rather than kind of worrying about it yourself and trying to behind the scenes make it be a bit better. Because otherwise, people can drop you like that. But
it's just because you care so much, so isn't it? Like you want to make it work. Stuff like that. Your reputation, not even your reputation, isn't it? You just want to go the extra mile because you care about the client. You want to make it work, and that side of things. But like you say, they can just drop you. They drop a hat because they think, hey, if this isn't working, oh fuck this, whatever. Yeah. But no, I think that's a really good point.
I'm not saying don't look after other people, but you have got to really take yourself.
You've got to look after number one, haven't you?
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing, because people will take advantage of you, won't they? If they can. And
I've dropped clients myself. I've said, I just can't do this, because it's like
more than it's worth.
Yeah, well, yeah. For it might be you're not getting a lot of money out of it or something. Which although it seems a bit sad, unfortunately, money does make the world go around. Yeah. And if you spend a lot of time and stuff, this isn't worth it for me, even though I really like the people that I work with, and or whatever the company is. I enjoy the project, but maybe financially they don't have the capability of paying you what you need. You've just got to sort of go, okay, I can't do it at the moment. Just leave it and move on, because otherwise you end up just you're spending loads of time, and it just becomes more and more frustrating, and they need more and more work, and
But I think I suppose for me to describe it is, maybe a few years ago, I'd just care about I want to make more money every month, and that kind of thing. But then as soon as you start thinking long term, you think, like you say, what's going to be beneficial for me in the long term? Is this client going to be the best, or is it working out, kind of thing? Should we part ways because it's too mentally draining on me, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to progress the business moving forward and stuff. So I think if you think long term, it's a lot better than when you first think, oh, I can make $1,000 here, I can make a couple of grand there. And then really you think, it's definitely not worth it at all.
Yeah, and as well, one thing with it is if you're having to, budge in like a 7:30 p.m. call, or an 8 o'clock call, or even sometimes later, like a 9 o'clock call for a client or whatnot, because they can't do any other time. But it's like that's your evening, that's your time that you should be spending doing your thing. And I'm not saying don't work during that time, but if you're having to kind of fix your entire schedule for that day around someone, they can't. They don't
value your time, do they?
Exactly. And I think that's a big thing as well, is to make sure that you value in your own time, and you work hard during the times that you want to work hard, and then make sure that you're free, and just for your mental health, basically, so that you're not getting off a call at sort of 11 o'clock at night thinking, oh my god, what have I got on tomorrow? So that's something I'd say as well.
I know, because I think, like I say, I don't take any calls after 5. But I will work after 5, and I won't reply to messages and stuff. Right. Yeah. And then at weekends, I will still work sometimes, but I won't reply to messages, because you just need that time, don't you, by yourself. You're not just constantly thinking, oh, no. Yeah.
No, I'm the worst for it. I'll sort that. And then before you know it, that becomes a bit of a habit.
I can't do that. I need that time off. Otherwise I'm fucked. Right. So NFTs. I know this is a big topic you wanted to talk about.
Well, yeah, you mentioned me just because the Metaverse that I've got in my bio.
Yeah.
We can go into NFTs,
Yeah, because personally, I don't have any NFTs. I know a little bit about them, but I don't really know too much. So you're gonna have to explain to me as a maybe slightly more than a beginner, and then I'd imagine quite a few people would be relatively beginners. So yeah, how did that come about?
So first I'd like to say I'm not an expert, and I'm not a financial advisor. I just like to mess about with NFTs, and yeah, so NFTs, they're called non-fungible tokens, but don't worry too much about the sort of name, whatnot. But they're a digital asset that you can purchase with cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Right. To give you a sort of brief overview.
Sorry to interrupt. I saw on OpenSea, apparently they're going to not make you have to buy them through cryptocurrency anymore. Apparently. I don't know if that's a rumor or not.
So they are linking in with MoonPay, which is a credit card sort of thing, so you can buy them with cash. But I still think it connects to a wallet that's a form of crypto.
Okay.
Sorry, don't quote me on that, because I've got absolutely no idea. I haven't researched it enough. There's so much going on that you can't keep up with it generally. But yeah, so I got into them basically on one day. I was lying in bed at whatever time at night, and this YouTube video just got recommended to me. I don't know how, from this guy. It's like $14,000 in a week. What? So I thought, from NFTs. So I watched this. And the next day, after I watched it, I was like, right, I'm buying some. So I was looking at all these mints and everything. Like, what's a mint? So a mint, when you buy it off like the original creator from their website, then you've got like the secondary market on OpenSea. I was like, well, I just got to do this. So the next day I thought, I'm just going to buy one. So I bought this Chibi Dino, right, it's called. And I think I might have bought 2 or 3 actually. And I put some Ethereum into it. I think they cost about $700 to buy. These things actually aren't that cheap. So I bought these things, and then once you've got a bit of skin in the game, you start to really understand it because
you're invested
financially into this market of all these pictures that are all. So that's kind of how I started, got involved, and since then I've had some good wins off them. But I don't really want to be trading them forever. But I like to sort of collect ones that I think are going to do well in the future. I've had a couple of hiccups on the way. I bought a Lonely Alien for 0.59 ETH, which at the time was $2,500. If I was to sell it today, it'd be worth about $50. So I've lost about $2,500 on this Lonely Alien, which is like, it's painful, but it's still in my collection as a reminder that they can go down as well as up. But so that was kind of one. But you've got to all these different projects and things. They're basically different businesses that sort of are doing different things in the background. Like the one that everyone's heard, well, the ones that everyone's heard of are CryptoPunks, which are like the sort of some of the more original NFTs, and Bored Ape Yacht Club, which is probably the best known sort of brand in the NFT space. And you saw the other day that Bored Ape holders just got transferred $100,000 in ApeCoin just for owning one.
Oh yeah, I saw that on Instagram, I think. Yeah.
So, and that's one of the advantages with these things, is because they're all contracted in on the blockchain. Is you could the creators and the project owners and people that run it can give back to the communities that have invested into these. So, if you owned any Bored Apes, you got transferred like $100,000. So I wish I'd got in early because I don't have any Bored Apes. But funny enough, when I started to do NFTs or started to buy them, you could pick up a Bored Ape for 13 Ethereum. 13 Ethereum, which was about, at the time, I think Ethereum was about 4, so it would have been about 60 grand. Now, you can't get one for less than 100 Ethereum. It's about $350,000 or something ridiculous like that. So I missed out on quite a few, and I'm still missing out on loads that are launching now that are probably going to, be really valuable. But I've also invested into some myself, particularly digital land for the Metaverse and Metaverse gaming. So recently actually sold a bit of Decentraland. This is my biggest sale. I sold it for $17,000. I got it for $10,000 a few months ago. 2 months later, and that was like $7,000 for clicking like 4 buttons. Okay.
That's crazy.
Admittedly, there's probably a bit more. I had to do a bit of research into kind of what it was and everything. But
for 2 months, though, it's not bad.
Yeah, well, I watched an interview with a guy called Raoul Pal and Piers Kicks just about the Metaverse.
Yeah, I watch his videos sometimes. Like Raoul Pal. Yeah.
When I watched this one about the Metaverse, I was just sold. I was like, oh my God, the stuff that they're building and how the whole space is going to work and everything. So that night the next day I went and invested into Mana, which is a cryptocurrency is the currency that runs Decentraland. I bought some Decentraland, I bought some Sandbox, and yeah, the prices have all gone up. And I've now invested into another project called Network, which is a virtual reality metaverse built on the Unreal Engine, which is what powers Fortnite. So I've bought like 5 bits of land there for a ridiculous sum of money. And they could go very wrong. I could have nothing left by the end. Yeah, that's kind of like NFTs, kind of like what I've done is buying and selling them and everything. But when you look at their actual, the technology behind them, that's what's really going to make them huge over the next 10, 15 years. I'll be throwing my first NFT event on the 30th of June here at the Jam House. So everyone come to that.
Where can they get tickets?
Well, they're not released yet, but I will link you so that you can put it in some description. So yeah, but it's all still in the works. It's 13 weeks away now as of the time of recording. So yeah, 30th of June here. But yeah, where was I? Well, the NFTs.
This will probably be out in like start of May.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So it'll be about 8 weeks' time if it's on the start of May, roughly. Yeah. Well, I've come up with
So what is it you're wanting to do with like the metaverse stuff? Is it like marketing wise, or is it just investing?
Personally, I'm not tying myself down to I want to be a metaverse marketer, although that probably will be a thing.
Yeah.
I want to be, an NFT marketer and building Discords and things, although that is a thing and currently is a thing. It is. I'm not tying myself down because the technology and the way this is all working, this is like the early stages. And in 5 years' time, if I've been messing about with this, and I say messing about, so doing some serious projects and stuff, but have been learning enough about how NFTs work, why they're valuable, what makes them valuable, how to promote them, how to hold their value, everything like that. In 5 years' time, so many companies are going to need this, want this, have to do this, and everything. It's not going to be. It's going to be like one of these. You cannot own kind of like a local business now without being on Facebook and Instagram. It's just not possible. I mean, you can, but it's one of these things where people are going to have to. You're going to have to let it take over. That's just how it's going to be. So by becoming, not an expert, but by
like say Web3 savvy, maybe.
Web3 savvy, yeah, and learning over the next few years, picking up as much information from as many people as possible. I feel that it will. Leave me in good stead. I'll be in a much better place in 5 years than I am now.
Because it'll be like basically, like you're saying, that butchers bringing them on Facebook.
Yeah,
it'll just be like bringing the businesses from Facebook and Instagram to the metaverse, won't it?
Yeah.
So it'll just be that kind of same process, but in a few years' time, won't it? So
and the whole industry is going to expand. The whole kind of like it's all going to expand because I own NFTs, right? But my mum and dad, they don't have crypto. My grandma definitely doesn't have crypto. She doesn't even know what it is. So, and if you think about, okay, well, in 30, 40 years' time, I'll be my parents' age or, grandma's age, maybe not that old, but I'll be sort of that age. And my kids or my, nieces, nephews or whatnot, they'll all have NFTs. And if they've got kids, they'll all have NFTs of some kind of, they'll be involved in cryptocurrency and everything. So the whole space will expand just naturally over time as the time progression throughout the generations. So it's something that I'm really confident that I can put my time and money into right now that will be here in the future, even though a lot of people are kind of worried about crypto and stuff.
People like that.
Have you got any crypto?
Yeah. I've only got Ethereum and Sol though.
Oh, okay. Solana's a good one.
Yeah.
That's my biggest loss though.
Well, funny story is that like last year, maybe when it was about $40, I had like loads and loads of different coins because I was just like, I'll put money in this and this and I'm going to get rich. But then I put like all my Sol into Ethereum. And then obviously Sol went from like $40 in it to like $250, whatever. Now it's only at like 100 or something. And I was like, oh fuck, I could have made so much money there. But because it was just messing with my head. Because I was like checking it like every 10 minutes or an hour, like it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. And I was like, I'm just going to put it in Ethereum and just leave it and forget about it. But then since the start of the year, I just do like a direct debit every week and just put money in Sol and Ethereum and just like forget about it because it just messes with my head. Because like I'd probably say I've got like quite an addictive personality. Yeah. So like I was like, oh, I need the next thing, checking this. Oh, it's up and then it's down. Then it affects your mood and it takes over your whole day and you're like, fuck this. So
I check it every day, multiple times a day.
That's what I mean. I just can't do that.
Oh, it's up. Oh. Yes, get another beer. But it's down. Oh, put beers back.
Saying that though, I think I've got some Yummy in a wallet somewhere.
Some Yummy?
Yeah. The dollar Yummy, yeah, because Jake Paul tweeted it like ages ago.
Right, okay. Well, that was definitely a report.
Yeah, because he said something about like Safe Moon. I said, oh yeah, Safe Moon, I called it, it's up, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yes.
But then
I saw the tweet.
Then the next time it was Yummy, so I was like, I'm not missing out on this, so I'm just going to put some money in Yummy. It's only like $100 and then forget about it. And then, you just see it go, but fuck knows, I haven't even accessed that wallet except to like download all this kind of shit, but...
he's actually in a lot of trouble at the moment. I think he's being investigated, Jake Paul. So I won't go into that. I don't want to start calling me out except for a boxing match.
You've been a few of them though.
I've done a boxing match. Yeah, first round knockout. Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think if anyone, like, I don't know too much about it, but I know like I should do it. You know what I mean? So if you can like, even like little bits, like I say to my mate, put like 10, 20 pounds direct debit a month, whatever you can afford, just so it builds up over time, because that's all you want, like compounding interest. So when I look back at when I first started to like now, you think, oh, I wouldn't even think about that money going out. And then it's in there and you're investing and stuff like that. But
it's more risky. This isn't financial advice, but it's more risky not to have money in crypto now.
Yeah.
It's more risky because what happens if crypto becomes the thing? Is like, well, you've completely missed out on that. Everyone else has made, 10x on everything that they've done over the past few years, and you're there going,
yeah,
oh, well, what do I do?
Yeah, and I think like if you're trying to get in it for the quick cash, you're in it for the wrong idea, aren't you? Really?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can do like obviously traders and everything, but yeah, it's you've got to think of it as like a long term.
Yeah.
So it's Bitcoin does this, right? It goes up and down, and the whole market will follow Bitcoin for the most part. But over time, if you look at it, it's a straight line up.
Yeah, exactly.
It goes up. It doesn't go down. It goes up over time. So when you think of it like that, the only thing I would say is make sure that you're not FOMOing into it. Generally, the best times to get in are when no one's talking about it, and the best times like not to go in are when Bitcoin's in a new all-time high. Everything like that is the worst time. So if you are going to go into it, I think the only thing I'd say is that don't just FOMO into it because it's hitting new record levels or whatnot. It's like, think seriously about when's the best time to go in and stuff like that. Because I sort of, Solana's one of the ones that I a little bit FOMO'd into. I put about £2,000 into it. A few weeks later, it's like, £1,000. But it's back up a bit now, probably about £500 down on Solana. But Solana will be doing NFTs. So interestingly,
that's the reason why I got into it, because I was like, NFTs. I didn't research any of it, but I was like, Ethereum, NFTs. Solana's doing NFTs, so I'll put some money into that because hopefully that'll be big in the future. So that's why I'm into them too.
Yeah, the NFT stuff on Solana. So OpenSea, I think they're developing or accepting Solana NFTs, which is going to make it pop again because the transaction fees for Ethereum at the moment are a joke. Yeah. The other day, I accidentally transferred some Ethereum onto a Polygon network for some stupid reason, trying to buy an NFT horse. Anyway, when I went to think, all right, I'll take it out, it was $151 to take out about $1,000. Yeah. It's absolutely, I was like, well, I'm just going to leave it there. I'm done with it now. I'll just leave it there. But yeah, that brings me on to, I said about the NFT horse, about the metaverses.
Yeah.
Because there's some really interesting things going on with all these projects. So the project called D-Race, because what is a metaverse to you?
Just a virtual reality world.
What happens if it's not virtual reality? What if it's just its own economy, its own anything? It's not in virtual reality. So what is a metaverse? So
it's just like a new world in itself.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be. I think that's what kind of like a lot of people think is, oh, virtual reality goggles, that makes it a metaverse. It's not. There's a project called D-Race. You can buy NFT horses. You can race them. It's got its own currency in the world called DERC. You can buy the stadium and charge people to run the races in it. You can breed the horses. So it's got a whole breeding, own currency, own kind of like structure with the hippodromes in which you can race horses in, things like that. So it's a whole own economy already. It's not virtual reality because you have to just click to race your horse.
You can set up your own business, can't you? Basically. So like you'd have your normal world business and then your metaverse business.
Yeah, and that to me is a metaverse because it's a whole other kind of like a new universe. It's just a metaverse. It's got its own economy. It runs itself, self-regulating. That's very exciting because this is only like stage one of that. You know, obviously you don't have horses having to be killed, which is quite nice. Yeah, but you can breed them, sell them. Some people will buy them, breed them, sell them like they would be normal horses. Some people will own the stadium, whatnot, that they can run in and charge people like you would in normal things. So it's a metaverse isn't just this virtual reality place, although that's probably a lot of what people sort of want to go into and some of the exciting stuff. But it's also these whole other economies that will just pop up and whatnot. They'll be completely self-regulated that you can earn money from. I mean, I'll just go look into these NFT horses and whatnot. I actually do want to get one, but they're around the cost of a regular horse. Cost you a couple of grand to get one. But yeah, that is a metaverse to me more than just putting on virtual reality goggles because you can kind of do that now with just Oculus. So
because you'll be able to like buy your own clothes in there, won't you? Set up your own businesses, buy your own house and all that kind of stuff, won't you? So. Yeah, it will be like have your own caricature. Is that the right thing? Yeah, you'll be living in there, won't you, with your own little Adidas? Because Adidas going into the metaverse, or something.
Yeah,
Like,
an Adidas NFT.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Adidas into the metaverse is called.
So can you wear that then? Could you wear that?
They haven't released anything for it yet. I bought it about 3 months ago, and they haven't really released much yet. But yeah, they'll be releasing all sorts of stuff.
Because that'll be what the kids will be doing, won't it? When they're like grown up, they won't be wanting like an Adidas tracksuit in the real life. They want it in like NFT or the metaverse life, won't they? So they can show it off to their friends and stuff like that and walk around, which I think is so cool.
Well, they probably have both, because you'll probably, if you buy the NFT one, you get the real
person. Yeah, that's true.
So that's what I think. That's what Adidas are going to do. They're going to allow everyone to claim which bit of clothing that you want, whether it's an Adidas hoodie or something.
That'd be so cool, wouldn't it? Like I say, they'll do the limited drops, won't they? Buy the NFT and then get it sent in the post to your actual house.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really cool. So I just want to talk a bit about Discord, because I went to see Stephen Bartlett the other week at Newcastle, like a meet and greet. So I had a chat with him. I said, basically it's like, this is my marketing agency, this is what we kind of do.
Yeah.
What do you think the best way to go is? And he said TikTok or Discord. And like, I kind of knew what Discord was. Like, I've been in a few Discords before, but he said like, that's the way to go forward. So that's what I've been like researching a bit lately, the last couple of weeks, of like Discord, like marketing and stuff. So I think it's important, isn't it? It's like build communities like outside of other social media platforms, populate them and do it like that. So have you had like any experience doing Discord and stuff?
Limited, if I'm being honest. But I understand.
I've had literally fuck all, basically.
Yeah, I understand the kind of like the potential with it, because you can build, like you say, entire communities. I mean, this is how all these NFTs launch. So they're building up huge Discords of like thousands of people. But it's a bit weird, because it's like an interactive website where you can have the different channels,
what people are interested in,
for what different people are interested in, but everyone can engage with each other. I mean, it's full of scammers, by the way, as well. I should just state that. There's loads of people trying to rip off your MetaMask wallets and stuff by getting you to click on links. So you have to be careful in there. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, the way in which it sort of is growing, funnily enough, actually, I had someone sort of interview for an apprenticeship the other day and said, oh yeah. And they said, well, so what are you doing? They said, I'm doing some affiliate marketing in Discord. Like, I think she was 17 or 18 or something like that. I was like, by the way, wait a minute. So you're kind of using Discord and kind of all these things. I was like, so this is definitely going to be the next big thing, because that age group is using it. So 5 years time, again, like with the NFT stuff, Discord will probably be quite a regular thing for, whether it be, I don't know, like your university course or whatnot. Everyone could talk to each other in Discord or whatnot, because we used to use Facebook groups and things.
Yeah.
Or
back in the day,
yeah. And I think that's all going to change, because Discord is so much more technically capable in what you can do with it. You can find out, you can ask questions and things like that. So
it's more of a community aspect as well, isn't it? I think that's a big one, because I know it's like businesses like clothing brands or even like podcasts, and they have their own Discords and stuff just to build a community, promotional offers, discounts, all that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I think it's important, but it's crazy how quickly things change these days, isn't it?
Yeah, but that Discord will be the way in which a lot of people sort of build their communities and things like that. So it's worth getting to know Discord.
I'm trying to get a client on it.
Yeah, no, I still don't know it that well myself, but it's something that I want to look more into, because it's like, if you can build a really big Discord, it's a bit similar to having like a really good following on Instagram or something. Is that you can automatically use that network of people to push things out and get information out to, just like you would with Instagram, but instead of maybe with a video or whatnot, you can put loads of information into Discord of all different channels and things like that, and then they can all speak to each other as well. And it's all very clever.
Yeah, defo. Right. So the way we end this podcast is relationship advice.
Right. Okay.
So 3 anonymous questions, and we need to give relationship advice to the viewers. So
I am not the person to ask. All my days. Okay,
neither am I. Basically, all my TikTok audience is that kind of stuff. So, right, the first one is going to be a girl. So, what are we calling her?
Helen, because that's my mum.
Helen. Right.
Nick's
Nick's mum has messaged in, and she said, right, I am finishing university. Well, my boyfriend's finishing university. I'm in the year below him. He's going to move away. What should I do? Should we do long distance, or should we stay together?
I mean, that's pretty intense, isn't it? To be asking me, should we break up or not because he's moving away? Well, I don't think you should be asking the question. I think if you're with the person, you should be with the person, and you shouldn't be asking a question about whether they move away or not. So you're staying with the person unless you don't want to be. But if you're asking the question, do you really want to be?
So you reckon this is Helen's out then? You reckon he's moving away?
It sounds like it.
She wants to have
It sounds like
in a final year of uni.
Like breaking up just because they're going to be away for a year. What are you doing? Like they're not going to be next door. No, yeah. You two are over as far as I'm concerned. You two are over.
So basically, Helen, we know you want to pay him off. This is just a perfect excuse. You want to go on a bit of a rampage in your final year of university. So, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Good advice. Okay. So next one is a boy.
Okay.
What we call him?
John, because that's my dad.
Right. So we've had Nick's mum and dad message him. Right. So John says, "Oh, I saw another boy's name pop up on his girlfriend's phone the other day. I asked her who that was, and she stuttered, and she didn't give the right answer. So she won't actually tell me who it is. What should I do?" That's a funny one, I think, isn't it? Because surely if it was another boy, you'd be like, "Oh, it's just someone on my uni course, or it's just like my cousin or something."
So firstly, I think the main advice is don't obsess over it.
Yeah.
Because
what do you mean by that?
Don't be thinking about it all the time and trying to be like Mr. Detective, because that's gonna absolutely fry your brain. Right? It will though. It genuinely will.
Okay, so as always on this podcast, we have technical difficulties.
Camera died.
The GoPro actually died. So we say
just talk about John and his.
Yeah, I don't know when it cut out, but basically John said he saw another lad's name on his girlfriend's phone. He asked who it was. She wouldn't say. She stuttered and stuff. What does he do about it?
So
you said don't obsess.
You can't obsess over it, because if you do obsess over it, you've already lost. But it sounds like either there's a nice surprise coming, is maybe getting a present, is someone buying a PS4 off someone or PS5 off someone on Facebook Marketplace, or you're getting cheated on. So I don't know. Just pull it up. Just literally I'm a real talker. I just say it. Just go. Who the fuck was that? But if that you need to tell me, but I mean,
if she won't tell him though,
huh?
If she won't tell him,
it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
What kind of relationship is that anyway? See, this is why I'm single, because it's any sort of situation like this, I'm like, nah, I don't want to be involved in that. So yeah, just go be single.
Do you reckon just end it?
Just sack it off. Yeah,
Sack it off.
Everyone to break up today.
I'm telling him to quit the job. I'm telling him to break up. Right, okay, last one of the day. So this is another boy. What we call him?
Joe. It's my brother.
So all of Nick's family have messaged
all sorts of stuff going on. It's all a bit mad in my house.
So apparently he has slept with another girl. So he's in a relationship, but he slept with another girl.
Oh, yeah.
He hasn't told his girlfriend. What should he do? Should he
tell her? Yeah,
tell her. Why do you think you should tell her?
Because you'll fuck your own head if you can't tell the truth to the people that you know. Yeah. Seriously, you will. Yeah. So there you go.
I think that's a valid point, isn't it? Because either they will definitely find out, or you'll just look at them and be like, "Oh my god, I've cheated on you."
Keep it a secret forever.
You get married, have kids and stuff, and at the altar.
As if it comes out, then
does anyone object?
Just tell her. I mean, what you're not telling her because probably you're scared that she will break up with you, right?
She probably will.
Well, she might have justified reason for doing so. So the only reason that you're lying to yourself, you're lying to her, is for your own self-interest of going out, which isn't
ego,
really,
maybe.
Which you don't really have that in that person's, what's it called, best interest at heart anyway. So just be truthful and tell her.
See what happens. Right, okay. So that's pretty much it. We only had a couple of interruptions and one camera died. So
can I just give a shout out to the Jam House, the Jam House, who have accommodated us here at their wonderful venue in less than 24 hours notice. Yeah, absolute legends. Thanks Paul, thanks Stevie. Yeah, so shout out to the Jam House. If you're ever in Birmingham, come down. It's class in it.
Really cool venue, isn't it? And then do you want to plug your NFT event as well?
Oh yeah, so 30th of June at the Jam House, we're going to be doing a NFT networking event. So if you're looking to learn anything about NFTs, if you don't have any NFTs but you want to know where to start, if you've got a business, if you're involved in NFTs, if you're an artist looking to monetize your work through NFTs, if you're a developer, basically anyone that wants to learn more about the space, how they can make money from it, how they can sort of engage their community, how other people in the space are, working with NFTs at the moment, come down. So there's going to be loads of people here. I only sort of announced it 3 or 4 days ago, and already we've got some like really good guest speakers coming. So yeah.
Yeah, that should be really cool. I might make an appearance. Like.
Yeah.
But yeah, right, everyone, thank you very much for watching and listening. If you're on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, comment what your favourite part of the podcast is. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, make sure to leave me a review. Just leave me a 5-star review, please. Nick, thanks for having you on.
Yeah.
And we will see you next time. Bye.